We talked a lot about in our family about my grandmother's life in Old Tibet and how she grew up and how she became a nun and how she ran away with my mother. And she started sometimes talking about the past, and we were like, okay, we want to capture this, somehow capture this story of Old Tibet, which is going to be lost once my grandmother is gone. And then also I was politically active and got invited to talk shows to talk about Tibet. And after that, I got approached by literary agencies and publishing houses, and they asked me, don't you want to write your story? It's so interesting, your life as a Tibetan activist and an actress. And I'm like, well, I'm too young to write a book about myself, but I would love to write a book about my grandmother's life and my mother's life, and at the end it could be also my life too. So that's how it all came together. My Tibetan grandmother, Mola, she was a Tibetan nun. She's still alive. She's 91 today. And she wanted to become a nun when she was 5 years old, so very early, 5, 6 years, she can't remember exactly. And since then, she has short hair. She's shaved her hair, and she attended, like she went to a nunnery and became a nun. And in Tibetan Buddhism, people would ask, like, so how can she have kids and be married to a monk? In Tibetan Buddhism, there are different school directions of Buddhism. And she went to one direction, which is called Nyingmapa, and it's the old school. And there, it's possible that monks and nuns can get married and have kids. It's not the best, and she had to do a lot of prayings because she was getting married, but it's okay. The journey of my grandmother started in Tibet. When she went to the nunnery and became a nun, and then later how she met her husband in a hermitage where she lived for 13 years with her root guru, and then she got married. They were looking after a monastery, a temple. They took care of another Rinpoche. A Rinpoche is a high reincarnation of a Lama. And then my mom was born, and soon after, when my mom was about 4 or 5 years old, the Chinese invaded Tibet. And that's when my grandmother decided to run away to India, because she heard in 1959 that the Dalai Lama escaped in spring. And so in winter of 1959, my grandmother and my grandfather decided to run away too and follow actually the Dalai Lama to India.